is up next here in the Claiborne Arena. And as with tradition, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you all, if able, to please be upstanding and remove cover for the national anthem of the United States of America. Many thanks indeed. The first of the international competitions this week, the $10,000 1m45 FEI. It is one round against the clock. Fences 1 to 12 over this course designed by Oscar Soberon. The speed of 375 meters per minute over a course distance of 500 meters gives us a time allowed of 80 seconds. The first of the fences away from the big screen, the horse heads the Oxer at fence number 1, and then back towards the in-out gate to conclude over the Arrestalin Oxer at fence number 12. A field of just under 70 due to come forward to battle it out from a number of different nations, and we wish them all the very best of luck. Kat Tyree, she's in wonderful form and she's got 3 in this competition. Eve Jobs, a former winner of the Grand Prix here at the Kentucky Horse Park. She's in with a chance as well, with several rides to come. But, of course, the riders will be building towards that $100,000 Grand Prix later this week on Sunday afternoon. So we are moments away from starting the $10,000 1m40 FEI, one round against the clock, 1 to 12, with a time allowed of 80 seconds. Good luck to each and every one.
Can't resist kiss. I used to keep it all inside, zipped up, I was the shy one, but now I don't apologize, I idolize myself. And if you tell yourself you're worthy, then you can't resist believing it. My own biggest cheerleader, damn. Who's that girl in the mirror? I speak my mind, I can't resist, because this is my story, and this is my kiss.
You don't stay in business for over 140 years without delivering what you promise. At Hagyard Pharmacy, we promise to treat your horse as if it was ours, making their health our #1 priority, because we know they are your #1 priority.
$100 million horses, donkeys and mules support 600 million of the world's poorest families. But for many, life is a daily struggle just to survive. What is our vision? A world in which working horses, donkeys and mules are free from suffering, are better able to support the families who depend on them, and positively affect the economies of their nations. With your help, we can improve the welfare of these hard-working equines. Join us at brookusa.org.
I'm Javin Dahlman with Dahlman Jump Co. Our easy-to-use aluminum schooling courses start at $49.50. We deliver them to your door and take your trade-ins. All of our jumps are backed by a lifetime warranty. Get horse show ready with Dahlman Jump Co. And make sure to visit dahlmanjumpco.com for more information.
Very best of luck to all in this, the $10,000 1 meter 40 FEI. 1 round against the clock, 80 seconds is the time allowed. And to get us underway, it is the man from Mexico, placed in the 4-star competitions of Balvanera a little earlier this year. Riding his own El Conde, it's Mexico's Gerardo Pascal Mendez. .68. There's one time there for Gerardo Pascal Mendez and El Conde. One time fault there. So we move on to the combination that won the 1 meter 40 final here on Saturday afternoon. They picked up 3-star placings here just a month ago as well. It is the first of the challengers from the USA. With Byzance Male, it's Lacey Gilbertson.
By Matharari, by Iowa, in fact, the Sol Francais, and then assumably a Jaguar Mile. So Lacey, at this early stage, especially having seen Gerardo getting a time penalty, you can just see her really moving on. A little bit of pressure on these early riders. Until they really get a feel for how the course is riding in terms of the measurement, the time allowed, the pace, and of course, when you are hurrying that little bit, especially if it's just a little bit more than your horse would really be comfortable with, you can end up with a fault. But look at this time, 64.83, 15 seconds inside Lacey Gilbertson and Byzance Mile. So Lacey not just in to jump a clear round, but in to try and be competitive in this single round table A. 64.83, getting a good few inside turns. So a rider who has been having a good national tour with us here in week 2. Now we see him in the international tour for the first time, Cormac Hanley. Cormac, who's been a top 10 finisher in the National Horse Show, the Palm Beach Masters and the Washington International Horse Show World Cup qualifiers here in North America. Podium finisher 2 years ago at Upperville in Virginia. Cliff 7-6 Westphalian by Cador for Ashland Farms. Ashland Farms just down the road from us here at the horse park. Cormac is really moving as well. 64.830. Lacey has certainly laid down the gauntlet. But Cormac has no hesitation in reaching down to pick it up. Through the double, it was an influential fence, that double. In much the same dimensions, on the same distance in the meter 40 national. Cormac just threads his way through to the last, and unfortunately he's just going to come up a little bit long and end up close into that oxer. So Cliff 7-6 and Cormac Hanley, they will be a 4-faulter. World Cup rider on several recent seasons. A top 3 finisher in the U25 at Split Rock back in the day. That was in the first year of Split Rock in 2015, when we were over at Split Rock Farm itself, just over the hill here from the horse park. Katie also has had success in this park before with a silver medal with her team at the North American Young Riders. And again, this is great to see our first few coming in and really going. Line Animo to green is the new blue. Banco de Moulin and Cady for Abrams and Equestrian LLC. Another Sol Francais Popstar Lausanne is the sire on this one. Turning through the air over the Vitalize to get back to the Dalman Jump Company fence. Just the one clear. Lacey Gilbertson 64.830. Cormac Hanley was a little faster with an unlucky pole at the last. Katie would have liked a little bit of a more comfortable jump through that double, but as it stays up, she'll take it. Banco de Moulin 64.830 to beat. It's going to be close. Katie Abrahamson, Banco de Moulin are behind 64.85. 2/100ths of a second for Katie Abrahamson and Banco de Moulin.
Great results on the Split Rock Jumping Tour of 2020. Placed in the Grand Prix of Aiken, placed here in Lexington as well. His ride for this afternoon is Fancy Girl for Ireland, Willie Tynan.
Willie Tynan with Michelle Gardino Dettelbach's Fancy Girl. Fancy Girl, a Dutch warm blood by Zirocco Blue. Willie's a great supporter of the Split Rock Jumping Tour. The Irish rider placed well with us at the Split Rock Jumping Tour at Aiken in South Carolina last autumn, after a summer jumping through the tour at Great Lakes, Traverse City, Michigan. A top 10 finisher actually with this horse in the 2-star Grand Prix at Global's Miami back in 2019. And you just see the difference. I mean, it's a pretty experienced and good mileage horse, Fancy Girl, but by the same token, Willie's just not really trying all out here. This is playing a long game towards our FEI Grand Prix on Sunday. So Willie just coming to the last, another one just going to pick up time. Like Gerardo Pascal Mendes, just setting up the rest of the week ahead, jumping clear around this course, just getting a feel for what Oscar is likely to set for these FEI horses here this week. Willie Tynan and Fancy Girl will score 1 for time. So Chandler Meadows, Chandler owns and rides Easy Boy, Dutch Warm Blood by Tangelo van der Zoethoeven. Saw Chandler jumping well in the meter 40 national a moment ago, so a great string of horses at the moment for Chandler. Podium finish last week in the meter 45 international power and speed with Zamia. So normally jumping out west at the likes of T-Bird in Langley, British Columbia, and at the Desert International Horse Park in Thermal. But been here on the East Coast for the last month or so, including jumping in the couple of weeks of the spring horse shows here at the Kentucky Horse Park, where I think they use the Rolex Stadium as the main arena for those spring horse shows. So this Claiborne actually lends itself very well to being a main arena for an international tour, 2-star, 3-star as we have this weekend, but it also just makes for a different experience rather than coming to the horse park and always being in that same environment of the big stadium. 2 double clears, 64.83 and 64.85, incredibly close. Yes, Chandler's enjoying her international jumping as an amateur rider. That would be her national classification. And 68.01 on the clock, so clear for Easy Boy and Chandler, but a score that we're going to see probably bypassed once or twice more, sits third at this early stage. So Cat Tyree, BEC Lorenzo, next to go. Podium in last weekend's Grand Prix. One of nearly half a dozen podium finishes for Cat over the course of the 2 weeks here so far. And this is only day one of the FEI Tour of week 2. BEC Lorenzo, the Irish sport horse by SIEC Livello. Cat's had Lorenzo in her stable since 2018, taking over the ride from European-based Irish rider Anna Duff. So 4 faults at the Dalman Jump Company, just taking that top rail off the vertical there at the bottom of the ring. So Cat Tyree and BEC Lorenzo going to be on 4 faults. Cormac Hanley's on a very fast 4. This is not going to be anything like as fast. But again, that wasn't necessarily the plan because Cat Tyree can go as fast as she likes. She is excellent against the clock when you look back through her record, particularly as I was mentioning earlier on with Katunji and Bokai, amongst others. A lot of wins and podium finishes in some really red-hot speed classes. But not quite their form with Lorenzo here. 4 for jumping, 1 for time for Cat. But we're going to see her back with Bokai later on in the draw. So Jennifer Waxman is our next to go. The skater group's Skato von der Molenberg. So syndicate-owned horse from the Zangerscheide stud books by Sendix. Jennifer and Scott had just missed out on the jump-off in last weekend's $100,000 Grand Prix here with us at Split Rock. Jumped through the Winter Equestrian Festival and also the Holiday and Horses Tour just before Christmas and on into the new year at the end of 2020. And just pops up the hand and elects to retire there. So Jennifer Waxman has jumped Skato enough to just feel that their eye is back in for the week ahead. Claire Schrader, who had a good run through the under-25 tour at the Winter Equestrian Festival. The last full season, she was actually over with us in Europe. Jumped at the two-star tour at Miami before then coming over and jumping in some of those hubside shows at Saint-Tropez Grimaud, Knocker on the beach in Belgium, and then Fontainebleau and Dinard in France. Claire Schrader at Seahorse LLC's Toy Boy, the horse she rode in our two-star tour here last week. We step up to three-star this week. Might just be in a tiny bit of trouble vis-a-vis that 80 seconds time allowed, just taking it pretty steady across the ground. Claire and Toy Boy, let's see what they do on their approach to the last. They jump the Kirkpatrick and Co. They're going to come inside the Animo. That'll just save them a little bit, and they'll get up there in 74, 75 seconds. Claire Schrader and Toy Boy will be clear and go into fourth place, and that's steady clear. Just edging out the two on a single time fault, Gerardo Pascal Mendez and Willie Tynan. So Eve Jobs, Eve, who was a Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix winner before being selected to the US team for the Lima Pan American Games when the US team picked up bronze. Eve was in her own right just off the individual podium in fourth. And with that great horse, Venue de Fils des Ailes, also travelled to represent the United States of America at the FEI World Cup Jumping Finals in Gothenburg in 2019 as well. Eve with her own Intuitive. This is an Irish sport horse by Beach Ball. And this horse brought over to North America by Rebecca McGoldrick. Eve with the international ride on this horse just this year. So Intuitive jumping well, finishing second in the 8-year-old international classes at the Dublin Horse Show in 2019 with James Hogg. So accepting the time penalty or two in Eve Jobs and Intuitive jump a nice clear round on day one of the FEI Tour. Clear for jumping 2 for time. 85.20 it is on the clock. So an entry for Evergate Stables. This is Gotico di San Giorgio by Diamant de Semilly. Italian bred, those San Giorgio horses. Gotico has been Maria Schaub's main ride since the beginning of 2020 through the Wellington Tour of Winter Equestrian Festival and the 2-star at Deerage. And a second week of jumping for them here in the Split Rock Hunter Jumper Classic. Double header here at the Kentucky Horse Park. 5th in the Grand Prix on Sunday. Maria got to go through the split rock fence, but they are another one to have the Dalman Jump Company. We haven't had too many rails here, but not too many have really been trying very hard, so they've had all the time in the world to set up for these jumps. But one of the fences that has fallen is that Dalman vertical here at the bottom of the course. And again, in comparison to the meter 40 class earlier, he's just moved that last fence on a little bit around the turn, just increasing the difficulty of it. So Maria Schaub and Gotico di San Giorgio will be 4 for jumping and 2 for time, total of 6. So Shane Sweetnam. Shane has built a fantastic career for himself over here in the United States. Rides Ideal for us today, the Swedish Warm Blood by Cardente for Sweet Oak Farm. Shane, who was part of the medal-winning performance, the gold medal-winning performance at the Gothenburg Euros. Represented Ireland once again at European Championships level in 2019. And in the 2019 season, he also took the runner-up spot in the Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of London. The Dalman goes once again. Ideal just stuck a little bit in front of it, unfortunately, for Shane, costing him those 4 faults. You just see him bring the horse right back down through trot to just set back up really just wanting us to listen to his hands and his aids and go on the spot that Shane wants rather than the spot that Ideal wants. So a little bit of training done and hopefully achieved to set them up for the rest of the week. 4 for jumping, 3 for time for Shane Sweetnam and Ideal. So Jessica Mendoza, senior team member for Great Britain at the Aachen European Championships in 2015. Jessica owns and rides Casanova. Jess was the runner-up here last weekend in the Split Rock Grand Prix. Has been the winner of the 2-star Grand Prix at the Longines Master Show in Paris. So that early rail coming at the ESI footing fence, and then Jess is threading her way around the course to find the next line. Casanova 499 by Clarimo. Clarimo alongside Casal was a fantastic Holsteiner horse from Stuteriask for Ralph Joran Bengtsson. Bit upside down there, unfortunately, at the vitalized jump, so with a little bit of a cat leap in the air, just caught it behind. Jess will just try and send the horse on a little bit back in front of the leg here through the split rock double. Yep. Just letting the horse down and out through her hands onto the forehand on the rollback and then picking up for the planks. And just getting the measure of how much she can have the horse in her hand all the way around, or whether she just needs to be picking Casanova back up just in front of the fences. 8 for jumping, 3 for time. Total of 11 for Jess Mendoza and Casanova.
The second of the riders from Mexico to join us now. A rider that's picked up 2 national wins already over the course of the past 10 days. He's looking for his first international victory with Camilla for Mexico, Arturo Parada Vallejo.
Arturo Parada Vallejo, who was our winner of the meter 40 just a short while ago, rides the German-bred mare Camilla. This is actually Camilla's first time jumping in the United States this season. Last international show for Camilla was down in San Miguel in Mexico, where Arturo started his year, jumping down there at the likes of the La Silla Show at Monterrey, Balnavera, Puebla. Hunted well into the base of that. Arturo Parada Vallejo reminding us that this is a speed class, 1 round against the clock. We go back and look at Lacey Gilbertson at the top of affairs with Byzance Mile on 64.830. Flies over the Kirkpatrick plank, sneaks inside the Animo vertical and turns up towards the rest lane, and it is a great time. 61.45, 3.4 seconds faster than anyone else. Arturo Parada Vallejo beat the very, very fast leading time in our earlier meter 40 national, set by Andrew Ramsey and Stranger. And now with his international horse, he lays down a very strong standard here in the FEI class.
He rides Davo for Canada. It's Jonathan Miller.
Jonathan Miller, Canadian Nations Cup rider, World Cup finalist and World Games rider. That was here at the Kentucky Horse Park back in 2010. Jonathan riding Davos here by Zento for Millbrook Farm. We were chatting earlier when we had Jonathan in the national class as well, how he was the runner-up in the most recent running of the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania National Grand Prix, but he just puts the hand up here. He's jumped a couple, and that's enough for Davos today on day one of the show.
Young riders, a rider placed in the two-star competitions of San Miguel a little earlier this year. With his own Coachella from Mexico, Jesus Francisco Orantes Howell.
Jesus Francisco Orantes with Coachella. Coachella the Holsteiner by Cassini. So first show for this rider in North America at the international standard. Jumping this year at Puebla, at Jalapa, also at San Miguel de Allende. But linking up with this horse Coachella for the first time. Has the Vitalized down in quite a big way on his way back to the Dalman Jump Company. So this mare competed for a couple of years here in North America by Aaron Haas. Jumped a few Grand Prix at the Traverse City venue up in Michigan. So a big old four, the Vitalized going in a big way for Jesus Orantes, but Coachella and Jesus just 4 faults, 78.30 seconds. 5 clears on course, and Arturo Parada Vallejo the best, and 61.450 to hold the lead at the moment. Quite a commanding lead. We'll see exactly how it ends up as we get on through the order.
To a rider who already this year has had success on the 3-star stage. He's picked up some good national results here in the early stages of the Split-Rock Jumping Tour as well. Riding Viking DeLorme for Ireland, it's Mark Kinsella.
Mark Kinsella, Mark with Viking DeLorme. Newton de Cresquer, the Sol Francais. Mark, who's jumping here in North America since 2016. Jumped the World Cup Tour at Live Oak in Florida in the 2019 spring season. A podium and a top 10 on that occasion with a horse called Chaluvet. Misty Cassar, normally the rider of Viking DeLorme, including just last week here during our two-star tour. Misty, a class winner with this horse in a two-phase over in Thermal in January this year. The Dalman is down for their second set of 4 faults for a total of 8, coming around to the last. You see just taking the steady long route around towards the rest lane last, which goes in the front rail as well. So 12 jumping. 71.92 on the clock, no problems from the clock, but 3 down for 12.
This afternoon, as we head back to the home nation of the USA, the man that was placed 12th in the three-star Grand Prix at Wellington earlier this year. The owns of rights, Uncle Blue, the USA's Spencer Britton.
Spencer Britton on course. Spencer owns and rides Uncle Blue, Swedish Warm Blood by Chaco Blue. First week of international with us here at Split Rock for Spencer, but he did show in the Kentucky Spring Series, jumping up to meter 50, meter 55 during Winter Equestrian Festival this spring as well with this horse Uncle Blue.
So Spencer Britton gives the graduate the signal as he retires there with Uncle Blue. We stay on 5.
So Spencer electing to retire. One or two have just decided to use this first class in that way to just get a couple of jumps under the belt.
She was placed in our $100,000 Grand Prix here just 5 days ago. And she rides a Noel Fauntleroy's Chico Van Het Schwenenhoog, Lauren Huff.
Lauren Huff with Noel Fauntleroy's Jekko Van Het Schwenenhoog, Belgian Warm Blood by Eplesse van Heike. Lauren, an Olympian for the United States of America back in the Millennial Games in 2000, back-to-back winner of the National Horse Show Grand Prix here in the Horse Park, and a career winner of the Grand Prix of Ireland at Dublin as well. Lauren had a good run through the first week with us here at Split Rock, taking a top placing in last weekend's $100,000 Grand Prix. Dalman goes as well. Jekko just takes a little bit of a shift to the left. Lauren was just trying to jump across the angle and the horse just straightened up automatically at the last moment at that, and that just made them take that solid yellow pole away. So Lauren ends up going out wide here on the way home, knowing that even with just 5 clears at the moment, there's challenge is really gone as soon as you have that rail. We've got 5 clears, we've got 2 on a single time fault, we've got Eve Jobs on 2 faults, and Cormac Hanley is the best of our 4 faulters with a super fast time, 62.860, and he's in 9th. Jekko Van Het Schwenenhoog and Lauren Huff, 4 faults, 71.20.
The rider's had some great form on the international eventing stage already, and that form has seen him selected for the USA eventing team for the Tokyo Olympics later this year. Running quintessence for the USA, it's Doug Payne.
Yeah, up from his base in the Carolinas, he's a frequent visitor to the Tryon International Equestrian Centre with his jumpers and, of course, his eventers. It's Doug Payne with Jane Dodinsky's Quintessence. He won the pre-Kentucky three-day eventing competition at Tryon, the Fork as it's known. And on the same weekend, there were national jumpers at the show, and he took the National Grand Prix with one of his jumper horses. That was back in April. He's been vice national champion here at the 5-star level of eventing in the Kentucky Horse Park and had another good run with Van Diva this year to be selected onto the US eventing team. He is currently listed as the travelling reserve to be subbed into competition if necessary over the course of the week's sport in Tokyo. That would be a first Olympic call-up for the Pan American Games eventing medalist from Lima. Just tries something quite extreme up there at the water tray. It doesn't work out for him. Just to get the angle down to the Vitalize. Actually, Quintessence just asked the question. You could almost see the conversation as they lined up on that vertical. The horse just sort of went, "Are you sure?" And Doug said yes, but that moment of asking, "Are you sure?" was what cost them the rail. Doug moved up the pace going through the split rock double, and that cost them another rail. So he's actually bringing home 12 at this point. And again, a little bit like some of the riders earlier on, you see Doug just bringing the horse right back down and saying, "Hey, listen to me." And then getting exactly what he wants. Doug Payne and Quintessence, is going to be 12 faults there.
Lauren Hester had some good form here in Lexington a little earlier this year. She was placed in the 3-star competitions with a win in one of the 2-base classes last month. It is with Hester Equestrian's Happy Feet for the USA, Lauren Hester.
So Lauren Hester. Lauren with Hester Equestrian LLC's Happy Feet, the Dutch warm blood mare by Zakharov. Second week of international jumping for them here with us at Split Rock. Jumping out west this spring, but they've been east before supporting the Split Rock Jumping Tour. They've jumped at Columbus in 2017 and in 2020. Brave Horse venue up at Columbus, Ohio, has played host to a couple of years of World Cup jumping for Split Rock, and will be part of the Split Rock Jumping Tour this year, albeit that the World Cup qualifier on the Split Rock Jumping Tour moves to the new venue of the Will Rogers Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas.
Last time goes as well, the Wrestling Oxer, on table 72.82 for Lauren Hester.
So another one coming home on 12, Happy Feet B, and Lauren Hester will be a 12 fault score in 72.82.
Just last week, he was 7th in the $37,000 FEI. Welcome. He rides for Ken Farrington with Chess. For the USA, Nick Della Gioia.
So riding for Kent Farrington LLC, this is Nick Della Gioia. Achieved an awful lot in his own career, but will also be well known as the son of 1983 FEI World Cup jumping champion Norman Della Gioia. Chess is the ride here, the Belgian warm blood by Bufaro van Het Panishoff. Nick just balances the horse down here at the Dahlmann because he's not going for the leading time of Arturo Parada, 61.450. He just has time to make it right. Unfortunately, you can't guarantee everything, and the rail just comes off the vertical on the way out of the split rock double. So Nick and Chess cleared the last, just inside the time, it looks like. 78.79, 4 faults for Nick Delajoye and Chess.
The young lady now from Denmark, the jump is super clear to take 10th place in the Grand Prix here on Sunday afternoon. Riding the restart, Holstein's Martina, it's Sophia Start.
Junior Nations Cup rider at Dieridge last spring. Sophia Stud for Denmark with Marie Stud's Holstein's Martina, the Danish warm blood by Party Dance. Holstein's Martina was her Nations Cup horse on that occasion. Top 10 in the Nations Cup Grand Prix at Dieridge. Class win, and again some good Grand Prix appearances in the U25 Tour as part of the Winter Equestrian Festival in Wellington this spring. And top 10 last weekend here in the $100,000 FEI Grand Prix at Split Rock in Kentucky Horse Park. So Sophia Stud and Holstein's Martina give us another clear. That's going to bring us up to 6. They are down the order time-wise, 75.560 on the clock, 75.56. So Sophia Stud and Holstein's Martina will be 6th of 6. A good start to their FEI week. Second week of jumping for Holstein's Martina and Sophia here with us at Split Rock.
This week he's looking for his first international win of the Split Rock Jumping Tour. With a horse that he partnered to 12th place in the 4-star Grand Prix of Fennel earlier this year. But it's Spruce Meadows, Concales, for Canada's Brian Morton.
Already having a pretty good day and week at the office. Brian Morton of Canada, Brian with Spruce Meadows Limited's Concales by Conte Bellini. A DSP horse like our world champion. First week, Brian's going to show internationally with us here. And again, he has been showing out west, mostly in the Desert International Horse Park this spring. And got into the ring in the Thunderbird Show Park in Langley, British Columbia last October for international competition up there, as the British Columbia venue was able to get a little bit back underway. Brian with 5 wins, including a Grand Prix win during that October meeting, the Harvest Classic, I think it was, at Langley. So carrying 4 faults to the final 2 on course in this one-round Table A Speed, the $10,000 FEI opener. So it is just the 4, 78 seconds on the clock, not trying too hard against the clock for Brian and Gonzalez.
With the 10-year-old Seatop Blue, Ireland's Andrew Bournes.
One of the first ever winners of the Royal Dublin Society's bursary. That competition selected live out of the young rider ranks during the course of the Dublin Horse Show each year. Andrew blazed a trail for the likes of Dara Kenny, Richard Howley, Alexander Butler, Jenny Rankin, Jenny who rode for Andrew's father over in Europe as well. So Sea Top Blue is Andrew's ride here today. Andrew, who's been based here in the USA for quite a few years now. Sea Top Blue, the Irish sport horse by Chaco Blue. Andrew, winner a few years ago of the World Cup qualifier at Bromont. He's also been a Grand Prix winner on one of the small tour shows at Valkenswaard in the Netherlands before coming over here full-time to the USA, and being a Grand Prix winner at Angelstone in Rockwood, Ontario as well. So Andrew Burns, Sea Top Blue, 4 faults in 77.410, just outside the top 10 for them, 12th position. Another rider with a great connection to Ireland, a undergraduate at University at Trinity College in Dublin back in the day, and rode for Canada at the Dublin Horse Show during that time as well. Vanessa Mannix. Vanessa owns and rides Balzac de Maz by Cannon. As we were mentioning earlier on, Cannon the sire has so many top horses, including the Olympic champion from 2012, Nino de Buissonet. That vitalised fence comes down again, as does the vertical coming out of the double. So Vanessa Mannix suddenly finds herself on 8 faults close to home. Still going to turn up inside the Animo on their way to the last, the Restylane fence. And just again, stalls a little bit in front of that. The horse looking down through the shoulder and catches it in front. So total of 12 faults for Vanessa and Balzac de Maz.
Richie Maloney was placed in 2 of the international classes here last week. He won the opening $10,000 competition. He was 7th in the $100,000 Grand Prix as well. Riding Equanimity's Mercutio Islands, Richie Maloney.
Richie Maloney with us, career winner of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix. That was back in 2016. He's been on plenty of winning Irish Nations Cup teams around the world, including the big ones, Hickstead in Great Britain and, of course, at home for the Aga Khan at Dublin. 4 times the leading rider at the Hampton Classic Horse Show. And career winner also. Memory serves, maybe the first non-North American winner of the American Gold Cup. Richie with Equanimity LLC's Mercutio, Belgian Warm Blood by P. Cicero. So Richie's having a little bit of a go here. Proof of the pudding might be here at the Dalman vertical, mind you, but Arturo Parada Vallejo, 61.450. Let's not forget that's our leading time. Only leaves them 11 seconds to get home from here, and they've got quite a lot of this arena. A surprisingly large arena here, the Claiborne, when you really analyse it, to get around, and he throws it away here. He won't know that, but he's sticking with his plan A by going out around the Animo, but it means that he cannot challenge Arturo. So clear in 66.20, but what he has tested out is that horse's foot speed. Certainly the ability to jump from speed is very good, and Richie elected just not to take the ultimate risk by turning up short into the last.
Within the top 10 in two of the two-star Grand Prix at Wellington earlier this year, with Atout de Trambel for Canada, Nicole Walker.
Nicole Walker with NW Stables, Atout de Trambel by Nectar de Forêt, the Ara Nationaux Sol Francais sire. Nicole has jumped plenty of double clears in Nations Cup action for Canada, including at the Winter Equestrian Festival Nations Cup, that four-star level one held each spring. Won the two-star Grand Prix at the Longines Nassau Horse Show in 2017, having been runner-up there in the past as well. It was top 10 back in the 2018 season in the World Cup qualifier at the home World Cup show at the Winter Fair, but she's one of the first to have the plank down and has the wrestling fence down as well. So it's 8 faults for Nicole Walker and Atout de Trambel.
So 8 faults there for her. Currently in 9th place is Ireland's Willie Tynan, and he'll be back in a moment's time with his second ride of the competition. This is a horse that picked up international results here during the first week of the Hunter Jumper Classic at the Split Rock Jumping Tour. It's Michelle Gardino Deckelback's Balanteskin Joe for Ireland's Willie Tynan.
So 66.69 was the eventual time there for Nicole with Atout de Trambel. Willie Tynan, Balanteskin Joe on course. Michelle Gardino Dietelbach owns Balanteskin Joe, Irish Sport horse by KEC Maximum Joe. So Willie going to have the green as the new blue fence down early on course, carrying 4 faults. His time is running correctly. We're just not getting the data feed through to the live stream at the moment, but we will be able to bring you his official time at the end of his round. But the 4 faults means that we're not necessarily looking at a round challenging the top of the leaderboard here.
So Willie Tynan retires with Balanteskin Joe, looking ahead to the further FEI international competition still to come here later this week on the Split Rock Jumping Tour.
So Willie retires.
Earlier this year. Riding for the Ashland Show Stables team with the 13-year-old gelding by Daval VDL. It is the turn of Ashley Fleischacker.
So Ashley Fleischacker is next to go. Ashley with Ashland Show Stables, Daval VDL by Zaval. Ashley and Daval, Grand Prix contenders with us last weekend. He's carrying the 4 at the moment as they jump the Dalman fence. And just jumping through the split rock double and electing to retire there, Ashley Fleischacker and Daval.
Richie Maloney fourth, Katie Abrahamson third, Lacey Gilbertson second, but still in place at the top of the podium, Mexico's Arturo Parada Vallejo and Camilla. 61.45 is the time to beat. We stay with the riders from Mexico now, and this is the young man, Jesus Francisco Arantes Har. His second of this FEI competition is the 8-year-old gelding Chascaro, 12:31 for Mexico. Jesus Francisco Arantes Har.
Jesus Francisco Arantes and Chascaro. Oldenburger by Chelensky. Jesus Francisco owns and rides this one. Goes just starting Jesus Francisco's countdown. Arturo Parada Vallejo leading 61.450. Lacey Gilbertson second. Katie Abrahamson third. Richie Maloney fourth for Ireland. Chandler Meadows fifth. Claire Schrader in sixth. And Sophia Stud in seventh. Those are our clears. 61.450 to beat. And Jesus Francisco Arantes took a bit of a flyer at the first, and then he sits up and really balances on the line. So difficult to just quite judge what his overall plan is at this early stage. Comes to the Animo vertical at 3, and this related line to the green is the new blue fence at the bottom of the ring, the Horse Show Sustainability Programme. Designer Oscar Soberon has just set that horseflight fence up a little bit further away from the double and on the dog leg, which means it's on a shorter turn back from the green is the new blue as well. All of that, of course, comes much more into play when they are chasing down those leading times, whereas Jesus Francisco Arantes here and Chascaro just taking things pretty steadily as they jump the Vitalize and come down to the Dalman Jump Company vertical, which is unfortunately down for them. That's probably one of our most influential jumps. Again, the horse that just lands a little short over the back rail going into the split rock double. Again, I know the riders are just considering their plan for the distance between the two elements there. It's been a very influential fence over there at all levels today. Jesus Francisco Arantes will score 8 faults in 76.
It is our next to go for Chile with Atticus, Diamant, Gabriela Reuter.
Gabriela Reuter, a very successful U25 career and 3 youth championships appearances, rides Lumiere horses Atticus Diamant by Diamant de Semilly. Gabriela, class winner during the Winter Equestrian Festival. Class wins in Europe as well. Tappy tap tap, but it stays in place. It's right up in the air over the second part of that playing cards double. Gabriela just does the right thing. Urges the horse on back in front of the leg. Unfortunately, just hangs a touch towards the in-gate at that vertical. That's exactly why it's there. And ends up with that rail. The Dalman vertical stays up though.
He falls to Gabriela Reuter.
64.78, not a bad time at all for Gabriela Reuter and Atticus Diamant. If they had been clear, they'd have gone into second place just in front of Lacey Gilbertson and Baizan Smile. Atticus Diamant and Gabriela Reuter, though, have 8 jumping faults.
Just 3 months ago, Yearns and rides Vital Chance for Ireland, Connor Swale.
So Connor Swale, career winner of the 5-star Grand Prix in October time at Tryon in North Carolina, career winner of the Thunderbird World Cup qualifier, European Championship level rider for Ireland, and a podium finisher a couple of years ago in the Grand Prix of Ireland at Dublin. Here in the United States, he's won the Grand Prix at the New Albany Classic in Ohio. One's at the Central Park Horse Show, where he was on the podium in the Grand Prix. He's won at the Pennsylvania National and the Split Rock Tour, and at the Washington International Horse Show. Vital Chance, our second Diamant de Semilly in a row. Connor clear of the Dalman, but again, you know, when you compare, Arturo was already home by now as our leading rider, so Connor is not opening the throttles all the way forward on this 12-year-old Sol Francais. Jumps the Kirkpatrick and Cope Plank, goes out wide around the Animo on his way home. Clear for jumping, but time? Yeah. 81.86 on the clock, 0 for jumping, 1 for time for Connor Swale and Vital Chance.
Approaching the halfway stage of the $10,000 Homie Sport FEI competition here this afternoon. And it is the turn of Alex Granato, who, with this horse, was 8th in the $37,000 FEI Welcome here last week. He rides for the Right Legs Group with Disco Superfly, Alex Granato.
Alex Granato and the Bright Lights Group's Disco Superfly, Oldenburger by Katoki. Just taking it on a little bit. Keep an eye on him as he makes his way around this course. If he stays on a clear, how close can he challenge? Alex had a good run on the World Cup circuit over the 2019-2020 winter season. He was actually our winner up at Columbus, which was the Split Rock Jumping Tour World Cup qualifier that year. Alex, member of the bronze medal winning US team at the Pan American Games in Lima. And a career winner also of the Deerage, the Palm Beach Masters World Cup qualifier in South Florida. Alex flies over the Kirkpatrick plank. He gets inside here, 61.450 to beat. I don't think he's quite done it. Let's see, 62.73 goes into second place. Starts to fill up that wide gap between Arturo Parada Vallejo and Lacey Gilbertson's time. Alex Granato in Disco Superfly can do no better than second.
Lacey Gilbertson now third. But our next rider has ridden at 4 World Cup finals, already placed on several occasions here on the second week of the Split Rock Jumping Tour at the Kentucky Horse Park. It is with SD Palatina, Charlie Jacobs.
Charlie Jacobs next to go. Charlie, who's a tremendous supporter of the Winter World Cup Series here in North America. He's been 4 times to the World Cup finals. He was the runner-up a few seasons ago of the National Horse Show Grand Prix here indoors at the Horse Park. Been on US Nations Cup teams on a couple of occasions up at the big 5-star Master Show at Spruce Meadows in Canada. Charlie with his own CMJ Sport Horse LLC's Esta Palatina by Nameless R. I don't know if working from home has made his life a little easier. Ordinarily when we're at shows that Charlie is having to spend the day in the office at Boston and then make his way to the show, often for the evening class, so he might have a couple of days holiday to be with us here at Split Rock this week. Of course, involved in the executive management of the Boston Bruins ice hockey team. Esta Palatina and Charlie, unfortunately, will just get that back rail coming out of the playing cards double. Charlie's family, in particular his parents, were our hosts for several years for that Palm Beach Masters series of shows in Deerage in Wellington, Florida. They cleared the Dalman jump. Esta Palatina and Charlie just taking things steady, hoping to add nothing further to that 4 faults. Unfortunately, it's not to be, as he has front and back down on the double. Goes wide here on the way home, which will certainly tick him over the time allowed of 80 seconds. And we're looking at 8 for jumping and time faults for Charlie Jacobs and Esta Palatina, total of 10.
Score of 8 there for Charlie Jacobs. 2 time as well there, 85.35. 10 for Charlie Jacobs with SD Palatina. So once again, before the horse for the Grand Prix, and it is a Sandwich Hybrid horse that has gone well in national competitions here last week. The rider was second in the Under-25 Grand Prix of Wellington just 2 months ago. Riding her own Bessie Mozart, it is Ashley Vogel.
So rider still contesting the U25 ranks, actually one of the best ranked U25 riders in the world. Getting good results in the U25 series with a U25 Grand Prix podium in the Winter Equestrian Festival this spring. Ashley Vogel wasn't quite their week with us here in the Grand Prix on Sunday. But had better time during the couple of weeks of the Kentucky Spring Horse shows, but they're back to make amends here in Hunter Jumper Classic Week 2 on the Split Rock Jumping Tour. Ashley Vogel owns and rides Bellissimo by Bamako de Muse. Ashley, who trains with Ali Sweetnam. And it's just going to go that far and retire. So Ashley Vogel and Bellissimo will take us up to the halfway point of jumping. We have, of course, Plenty more to come to get us up to our 67 starters. 30 more to go by the looks of it, but we have 8 clears. Sophia Stud, Claire Schrader, Chandler Meadows, Richie Maloney for Ireland, Katie Abramson, Lacey Gilbertson, Alex Granato, Disco Superfly recently into second, but Arturo Parada Vallejo and Camila for Mexico are our leaders. 61.450, they're the one they're trying to chase in this $10,000 opening class of the FEI Tour, the meter 40 speed. We'll be back to the action in just a few moments, don't go too far away. Welcome back to the Split Rock Jumper Tour. We're at the Hunter Jumper Classic 2 here in the Kentucky Horse Park, halfway through our opening 3-star FEI division. Arturo Parada Vallejo leads with Camilla in this one-round Table A speed, 61.450 to beat, and Arturo gets us back underway with Jesus Francisco Arantes, Wisconsin PS.
For Mexico, Arturo Parada Vallejo.
So Arturo, not necessarily going as fast as he was with Camila earlier on, but liable here to strike as clear round number 9, just 8 from the first. More than half of the draw. In fact, we've seen 55% of our starting order. So over the rest lane fence, 4 faults for Wisconsin and Arturo Parada Vallejo.
Still leading though with Camilla, great time, 61.45 leads is the...
Yeah, I thought it was clear. I was talking about him being clear over the Dalman. I didn't see anything else go, so Arturo is our clear.
Goes into fifth place to clear now for the man from Mexico, and he still leads with Camilla. Alex Granato second, and Lacey Gilbertson sits in third. This is Celso Luis Camargo Ariani, and he goes next. He's ridden for Brazil at the World Equestrian Games and World Cup finals as well. His ride this afternoon is the 10-year-old La Jolie Van Eigenlo. For Brazil, Celso Luis Camargo Ariani.
Celso Luis Camargo with Ricardo Romero's La Jolie Van Eigenlo. Belgian warm blood for Zandor. World Games rider for Brazil. That was at Jerez back in 2002. Second week showing internationally with us here at Split Rock. Le Joli Van Eigenlo competed in the Classic, the Welcome last weekend, jump off format competition. Celso Luis over the Animo, coming down this related distance. The green is the new blue, as we were saying if you watched the meter 40 National earlier on. We're using some of the same lines, but he's just moved some of the jumps. He moves this horse flight fence a little bit closer up to the green as the new blue, and then on a dog leg up to this double, a slightly longer related distance. Really setting up to increase the difficulty, in particular for those that are trying for those sub 65-second times that would put them top 5 as things currently stand. It is that balancing act of the faster you go, the more difficult you make it for yourself. Over the Dalman. Celso Luis. Hear that influential Split Rock double. Patrick Plank has only been down once in the class. It's a very, very light and delicate fence, but it has been treated with respect by the majority of our competitors. He goes out wide to the last, so Celso Luis Camargo Ariane just inside the 80 seconds time allowed, 79.08 on the clock. It's going to give us another clear, but quite a steady one.
Another rider that went well at Wellington at the start of the year to get her 2021 off to a great start with 2- and 3-star placings there. She rides next for the USA with Double Meadows Farms, Miss Millie Manu, Anna Dryden.
Good results for this rider in the 2-star Grand Prix recently at the Longines New York Masters. Speed class runner-up in the 2-star tour at Global Champions in New York on Governor's Island in 2019. Anna Dryden with Double Meadows Farm LLC's Miss Millie Manu by Milord Cartago. Anna, who was in the international tour last week down in Virginia at the Upperville Colton Horse Show, and comes up to join the Split Rock Tour for week 2. So second rail on the floor, just coming out of the playing cards double. They're having to fight for their clears here. 25% clear rate pretty much at the moment with 10 clears. Anna Dryden and Miss Molly Manu just come out wide around the Animo on their way home. No problem, the clock still nearly 10 full seconds inside the time allowed, so pacey enough from Miss Millie Manu and Anna Dryden, but the 8 faults will keep them a long way off the top of the leaderboard.
One that featured in the presentations of the 2-star Grand Prix, both here in Lexington and in Aiken as well last year. It is with Hassey Sport Horses, Lomax, Mexico's Armando Hassey.
Armando Hassey, Hassey Sport Horse LLC's Lomax by Lord Petsy. And the rider for Mexico, Arturo Parado, leads at the moment 61.450. Lomax was Armando's horse last week for the international tour here as well. He's also supported the Split Rock Jumping Tour at Columbus, Ohio, and jumped internationally at Thunderbird in Langley, British Columbia, and in the World Cup Tour at the Las Vegas National Horse Show at South Point Arena. It's going to have the back rail there off the green as the new blue fence. So coming on quite the early 4. Dalman comes down now in the corner of the ring as well for Armando Hassey. 12 faults with home in mind. Just into time as well, 12 for jumping, and it will be 1 for time. 13 in all for Armando Hassey here in our $10,000 FEI opener.
Another rider that's featured at a World Cup final. Peter Lutz rode into the He rides for LMW Sport Horses with the 9-year-old gelding Hello. For the USA, it's Peter Lutz.
Peter Lutz, Peter who's been a former runner-up in the split rock jumping tour leg of the World Cup qualification series. Winner also of the Las Vegas leg of World Cup qualifier action. A career winner of the McLean. The finals held here during the National Horse Show each November. Rode at his first World Cup finals at Gothenburg back in 2016. Ridden top-level Nations Cup for the United States, including most recently at Jalapa in Mexico. Peter with Heleno, Dutch warm blood by the VDL sire Baltic. Just one to go to come home on a steady clear. Should be inside the time, although he does just add a second or two by going wide around the Animo. Peter Lutz and Heleno, no, they could be caught out. The last goes anyway. It's false and time all of a sudden. Total of 5 for Peter and Heleno.
Gave us our first clear of the competition way back towards the start of the draw. But she goes next with her second ride now. For Seagrove with a 10-year-old mare, Bora Bora Della Rock, Lacey Gilbertson.
Lacey Gilbertson, a career Grand Prix winner at Tryon. 3 times the finalist through the U25 Championship week here at the National Horse Show. Lacey, who still holds on to third with Byzant Smile, is back with us with Seabrook LLC's Bora Bora de la Roque, the Sol Francais by Zandor. As I say, there's a real difference in how difficult this course is for those chasing those sub-65 second times. Lacey has one of them with Byzant Smile, but doesn't look to be necessarily have her foot to the floor here with Bora Bora de la Roque. In fact, could be in trouble right the way with the time. Bora Bora de la Roque and Lacey Gilbertson. We already have Willie Tynan and Gerardo Pascal on a single time fault. This will be more than that. The last goes as well. So 4 faults for jumping, 3 time faults for 7 in all for Lacey.
Back to Canada now with Gavin Moylan, regularly featured in the prize givings of 2-star Grand Prix across the country. He rides the 9-year-old Plant Hero for Canada, Gavin Moylan.
Riding Alden Moylan's Vanturo, German-bred Gavin Moylan. Can we see a Canadian winner? USA in second, Alex Granado, Mexico in the lead. is the latest challenger from our friends north of the border. Vanturo just in the string for this season. A couple of meter 40, meter 45 classes during the Winter Equestrian Festival for Gavin with this horse. Qualified for Grand Prix during probably WEF 3 or 4 by the looks of, in fact, one of the late WEFs, in fact, probably the 2-star tour alongside one of the late 5 stars, maybe WEF 9. Clear through the split rock double. Gavin is, as you can see, not going to be sub 65 seconds, but is he going to bring home a clear here? Needle on the time. Let's see. It's not quite that clear. It is 1 for time for Gavin Moylan and Vanturo. Half a second over, 80.56 for the Canadian rider. Gerardo Pascal Mendez. Gerardo owns and rides Chilean de Blondel, Sol Francais by Non-Stop. A couple of Traverse City results last year for Gerardo. First US show of the year at the international level. This 3-star week 2. A couple of Grand Prix appearances at Jalapa, Puebla, Balnavera this spring. Gerardo bringing forward the 4 faults to the last. Going to be just over 70 seconds, so no problem with the clock. So it'll be in the mix amongst the 4 faulters. Gerardo Pascal Mendez, another one to fall foul of the split rock double over on their way home. 10 AB. Jonathan Miller, Isotropic Shadow is the next to go, the Oldenburger by Contender. Isotropic Networks Incorporated own Isotropic Shadow. So Canadian World Games rider Jonathan Miller, Isotropic Shadow. Jonathan looking for his first clear as he returns to us. Nice job up through that double. This is, again, just a nice round on the front foot everywhere. Maybe not quite 61.450, not quite sub 65 seconds, but it certainly had a little bit of a cut at the class. An interesting week ahead, perhaps, for Isotropic Shadow and Jonathan Miller. Lauren Huff with Kathleen Kamine's Paloma. The US Olympian second ride in our opening competition. Paloma jumped internationally through the spring tour here, jumped through the Winter Equestrian Festival this spring as well. 4-star Nations Cup and 5-star competitions down at the Palm Beach International Equestrian Centre. And was Lauren's ride throughout the Columbus Split Rock Tour last year. So just outside the 70 seconds mark, 73.3, 9th position for Lauren Huff and Paloma. Jonathan Miller in 8th, Chandler Meadows 7th, Richie Maloney 6th, Arturo Parada Vallejo in 5th, Katie Abramson 4th, Lacey Gilbertson 3rd, Alex Granato, Disco Superfly 2nd, and Arturo Parada Vallejo's Camilla is our leader on 61.450. Second ride now for Shane Sweetnam. This is Birdie de Toe. Birdie de Toe by Magic Dell. Shane owns and rides this one. Irish Championship rider, medalist, winner of some great Grand Prix classes in Europe and here in North America. So clear through the split rock double. Spots a nice line. Smoothly over the plank and inside the Animo on his way to the last. Shane Sweetnam, Birdie de Toe. Just over that 65 seconds mark, 68.18. Down the order, 8th position at the moment. Sub 65 will go top 4 as things currently stand.
Featuring back in 2006 in Arctic and Kuala Lumpur. It is with Hidalgo for Argentina, Guillermo Obligado.
Guillermo Obligado for Argentina. World Games rider and Aachen World Cup finalist back in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur in 2006, and those fantastic championships held out there for a couple of years in a row. Missed out on the Grand Prix last week with this horse Hidalgo. Belgian warm blood by Codex.
Jumping and just inside the time allowed, 78.62 for Argentina's Guillermo Obligado and Hidalgo. Back to the sole representative of Chile here at the split rope jumping tour with her second ride, Maharani's Rock. It's Chile's Gabriela Reuter.
So 4 faults was the total for our Argentinian rider a moment ago, Guillermo Obligado. Gabriela Reuter flies the flag for Chile with Lumiere horses Mahari's Rock, the Irish sport horse by OBOS Quality. Chile, no strangers to success in the split rock jumping tour. 2 Grand Prix have gone the way of Samuel Parro over the years, including the Haggard Kentucky Invitational here at the Horse Park during the Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event presented by Mars Equestrian in the springtime.
Nicely done for Gabriela Reuter, clear in 74.50. Maharani's Rock into 11th place in this $10,000 1m40 here this afternoon. Give round to Gabriela Reuter, but Arturo Gallego still leads. But now to the very quick Kristen.
So Gabriela Reuter, Mahari's Rock clear in 74.50 to join the ranks of our clears. More than a dozen of them now. So Kristen van der Veen had a very good summer over with us in Europe in 2019 with top 10s in the 5-star Grand Prix at Ascona and Lausanne in Switzerland. Bull Run's Risen gave her a top 5, or a podium in fact, in a 5-star Grand Prix at Tryon. And she went to the World Cup finals in Paris in 2018 by taking the very last stop of the World Cup circuit. That was at Live Oak in Ocala, Florida. This is Bull Run's Prince of Peace, the Holsteiner by Cardenio. Kristen van der Veen riding for the Bull Run Jumper 6 LLC. So plenty more jumping to go this week when they could make it up towards the top of the leaderboard, but these 4 faults are going to keep Kristen van der Veen away today. Bull Run's Prince of Peace. 4 faults and plenty of time as well, 87.17. Total of 6, 4 for jumping, 2 for time. Vanessa Mannix back with us. Vanessa with her own Katinka 2.5 by Kotoki. Vanessa, who jumped in Europe, jumped to the Nations Cup show at Villamora last autumn, and Veja in Spain just before the turn of the new year, when she came over and showed this horse throughout the tour. The Winter Equestrian Festival jumped a few 5-star classes up to metre 50. Good jump-off result there towards the middle of the Winter Equestrian Festival before they moved north to Tryon. This is Katinka's first week showing internationally here at Split Rock. Vitalize goes, unfortunately, just as they come down towards the jury box, setting up for the Dalman Jump Company vertical, but on 4 faults.
Jumping 1 time 5 in each 1.46 for Katinka and Vanessa Mannix. 2 second place international finishes here during week 1 of the Hunter Jumper Classic here at the Split Rock Jumping Tour. For this next combination, they'll be out to go one bet in this $10,000 1 meter 40 FEI here this afternoon. You can bet on that. Riding Steve Schaefer's Coldplay, the USA's Italy.
Kaelin Leahy with Steve Schaefer's Coldplay 3-1, Westphalian by Cassini. Coldplay, 2 runner-up spots with us last week during the Split Rock Jumper Tour Hunter Classic. Runner-up in this very class 7 days ago. Well, won't be able to replicate last week's form with 4 faults out of the Split Rock Jumping Tour double. They'll come home on a very fast time. Look at this. Going to cut down hard on that last because they didn't just find a sweet spot there to have enough energy to really go out over that back bar. 63.13 on the clock with the 8 faults for Kaelin Leahy and Coldplay 3-1. The time would have been good enough for 3rd.
This is her own horse. It's venue to feed the SL for Eve Jobs.
with her Pan American Games horse, Venue de Fils de Ezel, Eve Jobs. Eve owns and rides Belgian Warm Blood by President. So with Vitalize still on the clear. Not looking for the fastest time here on day one of the FEI Tour. Definitely keeping her powder dry with this one for some of the classics. We have the jump-off class tomorrow. Grand Prix, of course, on Sunday. Saturday, it's back to a little bit of the speed tour with the power and speed here. As Eve and Venue de Fils de Ezel go into time as they go out wide around the Animo. Restylane last, the Oxer. So clear all the way in 80, just under 89 seconds. So that'll be 3 for time.
A second round of the competition now for Connor Swell. 61.45 the time to beat. It is the 9-year-old galloped by Christian. This is Theo, 160 for Ireland, Connor Swell.
Another roll of the dice for Connor Swell, this time with his own Theo. Holsteiner bred 9-year-old by Christian. Just pushes his luck a little bit. Flat across the Oxer, going into the split rock double. But looks set to come home with just 4 faults. Connor pushed enough to just try out the gears here with Theo as well. 68, 4, 9, and the 4 faults for Theo and Connor Swell. So Chandler Meadows, one of our clears at the moment, sitting in 7th. Chandler is back with us. Owns and rides Kodak Van Het Inderhof. Kodak by Copperfield van der Held. So caught out at the Dalman, unfortunately, on this second ride. Kodak Van Het Inderhof coming on towards home. We'll have to rank behind all of our clears, and there's a few have jumped clear with just a time fault or two as well. That keeps our fast four faulters right the way down the order. So Chandler Meadows and Kodak Van Het Inderhof, 4 faults in 72.13.
In this evening's $10,000 1m40 FEI. Kelly Arani was placed in the Under-25 series at Wellington at the start of the year. On Sunday afternoon, she rode to 6th place in the 1m40 final here in the Claiborne Arena. It is with Marigot Bay Farms, Valmont de VC, the USA's Kelly Arani.
Rido had a good national tour with us last week, competing in the U25 series throughout the Winter Equestrian Festival this spring. Kelly Arani with Marigot Bay Farm LLC's Valmont de Vizy, Sol Francais by Zandor. Another one of the squad trained by Ali Sweetnam. Good turn up to the last Valmont de Vizy. 72.62 on the clock. Kelly Arani and Valmont de Vizy go into 10th position.
And his second ride here next. This one is a 10-year-old Darquito, Andrew Gaunt's Ireland.
Darquito, the Hanoverian by Dinzeo. Andrew Burns owns and rides. Wellington, Florida-based Irish rider. So two Irish inside the top 10 at the moment, Richie Maloney, Shane Sweetnam. Andrew's having a bit of a cut at this by the looks of it. Through the playing cards double. It's a long old course, this Table A Speed. Plenty for them to do on day one, and therefore a lot of options for them in how they're going to prepare the horse for the rest of the week. Clear at the Dalman. Troublesome fences staying up so far for Andrew Burns. On his way home, 58 seconds as he crosses the arena back to the Kirkpatrick. Turns up inside the Animo towards the last. 61.450 can't be done. 65 seconds for top 5 can't be done. Where is he? 68.29. Andrew Burns and Darquito go just behind Shade Sweetnam and into 9th. 69.380. John Miller and Isotropic Shadow take over 10th place. So with the Tinker's boy daughter, Tinky and Hero, Richie Maloney. Richie owns and rides. Richie's own line in the sand is Merchisio in 6th place on 66.20. Front rail off the Vitalize Oxer, unfortunately coming down towards us here at the jury box on this steady round for Richie and Tikian Hero. So just inside that time allowed of 80 seconds, 78.93 on the clock, 1.07 inside, and 4 faults for Tikian Hero and Richie Maloney, so they'll find themselves a good bit down the order. US 3-time World Cup finalist, the host of one of our legs of the Split Rock Jumping Tour as well in Sonoma, California, Carl Cook, Kalinka van Zorgvliet. Carl, who was leading the North American League West Coast standings en route to the World Cup finals in Las Vegas in 2020, that unfortunately had to be cancelled at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. He's a fantastic supporter of that Winter World Cup series, often travelling coast to coast, weekend to weekend, to keep up the points total. Kalinka with the Dahlman Jump Company. Again, we just see front rail off the Split Rock double oxer going in, but just see a rider here just on the front foot, not chasing down the very fastest times, but just trying to make sure that Kalinka van Zorgvliet has the jump to take it on from a little bit of speed. Unfortunately, the last goes as well. Another front rail off an oxer for Carl Cook for a total of 8 in 74.54.
Seven left to go. Two of those for Ireland, and this, the Irishman Willie Tynan, with his third and final ride of the competition, the 11-year-old ridden by VDL Campbell. It's Felice, Ireland's Willie Tynan.
Willie Tynan back with us. Venice, Dutch Warm Blood by VDL Campbell. Willie riding for MDM Equestrian Group LLC with this one. So Willie's coming in here on a good clear. Is going to be sub 65, not quite. 65.420 for Arturo, holding 5th place. Willie Tynan and Fennis 68.25 and clear. And we find that down in 9th, just between Shane Sweetnam and Andrew Burns.
Lacey Gilbertson 3rd, and she's back now with another ride. Alex Granato 2nd. Mexico's Arturo Parada still leading. And it is Lacey Gilbertson's final ride of the competition. Can she improve on 3rd place when she sits with Byzant's Mail? Riding Seabrooks, Viti DeLonga, Lacey Gilbertson.
So Lacey Gilbertson, Seabrook LLC's Viti DeLonga by Contendro. Lacey already on the podium with Byzant's Mail. Can stay there. 64.830 is that time, sitting behind Alex Granato. And Arturo Parada Vallejo, our current leader for Mexico. Got a handful to start after Lacey, Emma Sargent, Jesus Francisco Arantes, Shane Sweetnam, Kat Tyree and Ashley Vogel still on the start list for this FEI Speed. And going to retire, having jumped down through the Vitalized line, Lacey Gilbertson and Viti DeLonga. Enough done for the Sol Francais mare. Viti DeLonga there for Lacey as we go to Emma Sargent. Giolita, the 10-year-old mare by C. Ingmar from the Dutch Warm Blood Stud Book. Emma Sargent owns and rides. Emma Sargent having a little bit of a go here. Trained by John Roach. Comes down the line to the green is the new blue. Looking already across her shoulder to the horse flight. Just has to pick up the horse a little bit, rebalance through a half halt in that corner. It'll cost them a little bit because really you've got to be so forward and flowing to be in the country of Arturo Parada Vallejo's 61.45 time. Emma moves on again down that line, jumps the water tray vertical and moves forward to the Vitalize. The Dalman moves right to the edge of the cup. A hard rub, but it stays in place. She's on an absolute flyer here up the split rock. That has gone wrong for many, many before her, but it goes right for Emma. Across the Kirkpatrick plank, it's gone. It's only the second or third time in the whole class that's gone. Unfortunately, it goes against Emma Sargent and Giolita. 4 faults in 67.10.
Jesus Francisco Arantes half.
Jesus Francisco Arantes for Mexico. Jesus with Gangster by Utako. There's a quicker line back to the horse flight, but he rides a very nice balanced rollback turn. Of course, picked up a decent amount of experience on this course with his earlier rides. Jesus Francisco Arantes back with us once again. But he can turn in a clear at this pace. This could be the highest ranked of his horses going into the top 10. Oh, horse just hesitated. Took a stutter step on the way into the Dalman jumping vertical. And clear the rest of them. So it is 4 faults for Jesus Francisco Arantes and Gangster for Mexico in 77.17. 3 to go.
If this competition stays this way, Shane Sweeten will feature in the presentation. Currently in 8th place with Birdie Duteau. He goes next with his own Polo's Diamond, Ireland's Shane Sweeten.
So final chance for Shane Sweetenham and for Ireland to top out the table in this meter 40 speed. Shane and Birdie Duteau currently in 8th position, but he's back now with Volo's Diamond by Stacketol. Horse originally produced to international and World Cup level out in Poland by Przemysław Konopacki. Shane Sweetenham with the ride then since the beginning of this year. Straight in at the 5-star level through a couple of shows at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Again, just settling in. Just get the measure of this ring and how this 10-year-old Oldenburger by Stacketol might react as the courses get more technical as the week goes on in this 3-star international tour. Fourth place in a recent meter 50 jump-off class down in Tryon. Shane Sweetenham and Volo's Diamond could easily be ones to watch this week. A very, very nice round of jumping, just the one on the clock. So Kat Tyree is back with us. This time it is with Bokai. Horse has won plenty of meter 40, meter 45, even meter 50 speed classes. Jumped double clear in the Nations Cup in Wellington, Florida a few years ago. Third in a 5-star Grand Prix during the Winter Equestrian Festival, the Week 5 Grand Prix. But Bokai won't be podium or winning today. 8 faults already as Kat and Bokai come up this line from the horse flight to the playing cards. Uncharacteristic 3 down, 12 faults for Kat Tyree and Bokai. Again, a U25 Tour competitor also showed in some of the Senior Grand Prix during the Winter Equestrian Festival. Ashley Vogel, Ashley with her own Lucy in the Sky. Part of Team Sweetenham here at the Split Rock Jumping Tour. Seen her already with her horse from last week's FEI Tour here at Split Rock in the Hunter Classic. That was Bellissimo. Just not on a true stride there at all, unfortunately, to the Animo vertical. It doesn't go their way. Ashley's done a good job here getting back going, just rebuilding the confidence in the partnership. Lucy in the Sky and Ashley over that plank, going out wide here on the way home, which will push them into time penalties. And that goes down. So 12 jumping faults and 1 for time for Ashley Vogel and Lucy in the Sky. So total of 13 for our last to go. So we saw 67 starters in the $10,000 meter 40 FEI Speed competition. A single round of jumping where faults and time are the deciding factor, and it was Mexico that ended up standing supreme here. In 10th place, Andrew Burns and Darkito for Ireland, Willie Tynan for Ireland, and finished. They were in 9th. Shane Sweetenham, Birdie DeToe in 8th. Chandler Meadows, Easy Boy, 7th. Richie Maloney, Mercuzio, 6th. Arturo Parada Vallejo, Wisconsin PS for Mexico, 5th. Katie Abramson, Banco de Moulin, 4th. Lacey Gilbertson's Byzance Male in 3rd. Alex Granato, Disco Superfly in 2nd. And our winner, long-time leader, 61.450. It's the second win of the day. National Meter 40 earlier on, and now a win in the FEI Meter 40 Speed. Arturo Parada Vallejo and Camilla for Mexico taking victory here in the opening leg of the FEI Tour at Split Rock Jumping Tour Hunter Classic Week 2, featuring this CSI 3-star competition. There's confirmation of our results. Awards coming up here from Split Rock, and of course another full day of action tomorrow. We have more top-class national show jumping. We have the 7-year-old final here in the Claiborne as well, and the next leg of the FEI Tour. Tomorrow's classic format, the jump-off competition, that will act, if necessary, as a qualifier also for the Grand Prix on Sunday. But a great competition coming up, a great competition just been had, with Arturo Parada Vallejo, the first international winner of Week 2 of the 2021 Split Rock Jumping Tour.
We welcome in our prize winners of the $10,000 1 meter 40 FEI. horses here at the Split Rock Jumping Tour. Thank you to Vitalise, and delighted to welcome forward that Lindsay Whittaker to congratulate our top 8. In 8th place is Shane Sweetman and Bernie Duteau. 7th, Chandler Meadows and Easy Boy. 6th, Richard Maloney and Mercutio. 5th, Arturo Parada Viejo and Wisconsin PS. Katie Abramson takes 4th with Banco de Moulin. In 3rd, Lacey Gilbertson and Python Smale. It's 2nd, Alex Granato and Disco Superfly. But congratulations to the winner from Mexico with Camilla, Arturo Parada Vallejo. So we head over to our podium for podium presentations of the $10,000 1m40 FEI. And stepping up to 3rd place, we say well done to Lacey Gilbertson, Byzance Male of the USA. 2nd, Alex Granato, Disco Superfly, also for the USA. But the winner, Arturo Parada Vallejo and Camilla of Mexico. And I ask you all, if able, to please be upstanding and remove cover for the national anthem of our winner, Arturo Parada Vallejo, Mexico. Many congratulations to Arturo Parada Vallejo, and many thanks to the Vitalise team. Thank you to Lindsay Whittaker for stepping forward to congratulate our lineup in the first of the 4 3-star international competitions here at week 2 of the Split Rock Jumping Tour at the Kentucky Horse Park. Of course, thank you to Horseflight as well. There is that $500 prize for the best fist bump of the week. And the man that takes the victory here in the international competition has secured win number 2 of the day here in the Claiborne Arena. And that surely has to be worth a fist bump, as we say well done to the winner of the $10,000 1m40 FEI for Mexico with Camilla, Arturo Parada Vallejo. Many congratulations, Arturo Parada Vallejo.